So welcome to the Scorched Earth Life section. This is tales from the hard streets of Los Angeles and my family. So I'm here in a theater. It's one of the great American pleasures. Taking the family, going to a movie, the cinematic experience. And I take my parents all the time. But boy, they're rascals. I'm going to recount one of the episodes that we went through. Probably led to my childhood trauma. So I take my parents, and we go to see a Nicolas Cage movie. Now, he's made some really good movies, but he's also made some really terrible movies. He went through about a 10-year period where it was literally an assault on humanity, the things he put out in the theater. So my dad wants to go see it. I go with my mom and dad, and we sit about halfway up in the theater, and I give us a couple seats, so I can put my hoodie on and go to sleep. So my mom and dad sit down, and we start to watch the movie, and I literally know within 1 minute it's going to be a terrible movie. Nicolas Cage average, right? And I'm getting ready, and I'm getting ready to go to sleep. And I look down in the front row, and that guy we all hate, he's got his cell phone on, right? And it's like a lighthouse beacon. And I can see down about 3 rows, and I can see he's scrolling to see what other movies are playing in the Cineplex, because he wants out of this thing too, right? He's like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption. He's trying to escape, right? And so he's scrolling in the front row, and it's literally terrible, and it's incredibly obtrusive and just vile. It's how civilized of a world do we live in when that's the big crime against humanity? And so I look over, and I'm looking at him, and next thing I know, my mom grabs it and throws popcorn at him. And I look down at him, and he keeps scrolling. And then my mom throws more popcorn. And I go, what the Sam Hill? My dad, that's how you stay married 60 years. He's just watching the movie and thinking about what he's going to eat afterwards, right? And I look down at the guy one more time. He's scrolling, and my mom throws popcorn. Well, Sam Hill, what do we got there, right? So I look at the guy, and he gets up. Now, I boxed for about 5 years. It explains the extensive facial damage. And I'm like, man, this guy's going to have a bad day. He tries to get to my parents, right? He gets up, walks out, and leaves the theater. Well, part one's done. That's a good thing. But the part two is now I have to see the whole movie because I can't go to sleep because he might come back and I got to defend my parents. So 2 more hours of eye torture. We get out of the movie. We're walking down the hall and I go, what was that, young lady? And I get the, what? And I said, the popcorn? And she says, what? I don't know if this is her getting me back for childhood trauma I caused her when I was the insolent young teenager. But I said, you threw popcorn at the gentleman. And she says, no, I didn't throw any popcorn at the gentleman. And I said, you didn't throw popcorn at the gentleman. And she goes, no. And I said, okay. So I take the first, we walk a little farther, and I come back around. I said, hey, are you sure you didn't throw any popcorn at the guy? She said, no, I didn't throw anything at him. Now, in my head, I've heard it twice, right? And I thought, well, maybe she had a cramp. The theater's kind of dark. Maybe I don't know what's really going on. And so we walk a little farther down, and she says, that guy was incredibly rude. I go, yeah, he was rude. But are you sure you didn't throw any popcorn? And once again, like Peter, I got the third denial, right? And so we walk a little farther, and then she makes the big mistake. And she says, that guy flipped me off. Now, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, as you well know. I walked a little further, and I turned to her and I said, well, if you didn't throw popcorn, why would he flip you off? Bingo! Then I got that, well, he deserved it, blah, 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 now, whatever. Let me tell you something about families. And this is my family to a nutshell. I love them to death. But I call it the asylum world. Half the time you think you're in the asylum, and the other half you think you're running the asylum. And let me tell you, nobody gets out alive. Peace out.